All right, welcome back. This is part one of the exterior body inspection. As you can recall in the previous couple videos, we did the interior inspection. Now this is the exterior body inspection. And in this video series, you're going to learn how to inspect the body to be sure that you're buying the best used vehicle and getting the best bang for your money. You don't want to buy a vehicle that's all banged up, and you don't want to buy a vehicle that is all crashed up either. So, what we're going to want to do first is inspect the body for rust. I've been so adamant in talking about rust. As you can recall in the previous couple videos, I've talked about rust and bits and pieces here and there. And I'm going to continue to talk about it some more because this this rust, is so serious that it can literally destroy the whole vehicle. You know, I sometimes I can't really understand why, some people would want to live in those colder climates because you spend so much money on a vehicle only for it to just rust out just like that. I've seen vehicles that are as old as 2 and 3 years old that are just completely covered in rust. And guess what? The customers are still paying for that vehicle. So I don't want this to happen to you. I wouldn't dare buy a vehicle that has a lot of rust on it. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you a little story about some rust nightmare that I had in my past vehicle. Remember that 2000 Lincoln Navigator that I told you about that I had to change the airbags on it, the suspension part? Well, guess what? That vehicle had a really rust issue on top where the water would not flow off after it rained. And guess what? The water would sit up there on top of the roof and begin to rust. We did not buy it like that, but this is something that happened over time. And within 3 or 4 years of having that vehicle, we started to have these water leaks on top of the roof. And, my wife was complaining about water leaking on her. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to fix this? I was not a body guy that repaired body and did body work. So I was, worried about, how that would turn out. And, we made the decision to get rid of the vehicle. And we did so. And that's the reason why we were able to find our new baby, that 2005 Dodge Durango that has absolutely no rust. So let's get back to the video course here. And, what we're going to want to do is we're going to get our magnet that we talked about in the tools needed portion. Yes, I said it, a magnet. You're going to use that magnet to inspect the body. What you're going to want to do is you're going to use that magnet to go over certain areas of the vehicle. I would suggest that you do the hood. I would suggest that you do the fender, left and right fender, the doors. Get all the doors and make sure that you're going to see if that magnet sticks. Now, what that's telling you about the magnet sticking to that door is that that part of the vehicle is pure sealed. It doesn't have a lot of Bondo and filling in it because when Bondo is filled in on a body, that part of that body is no longer gonna, be able to stick with magnet. So that's just letting you know that that's pure metal. Okay, so you want to use that little trick and have fun with. All right, so next, remember when we talked about the sunroof, now you want to inspect the exterior of the sunroof. Inspect the exterior of the sunroof and be sure that you check all the crevices and look over the top of that sunroof and inspect it completely. You see the sunroof that's in this image here at your top far right? You do not want to buy a vehicle with a sunroof like that. I am telling you, I can't begin to stress how important it is to not buy a rusty vehicle. And if you do, it's going to cost you a lot of money to repair. And guess what? That rust is going to travel some more. So it's really up to you. But I would prefer you not to buy a vehicle with so much rust on it. Okay? And also, the bottom far right, look in the area where the water runs down into the sunroof. You want to check the seals and the cracks and crevices there, and just be sure that there are no rust and there's no debris there that can possibly turn into rust. So you just want to inspect that completely. And when you do that, and if it passes your little test and your little inspection, then you're good to go if you choose to move on with that vehicle. Also, another little trick that can tell you that a car was either repaired at the body shop or, you know, just had some recent touch up is overspray. Overspray is basically what it says. Overspray from a recent body work that was performed on a vehicle. As you can see here in the bottom far left image, you see where you have like the little sprinkle particles, and then you have a clear spot there in the middle. Well, those sprinkles and white dust looking particle, that is called overspray. So you can just be sure to look out for the overspray. If you see overspray, that vehicle was just recently uh, repaired by a body shop or somebody that knows how to do body work. So these are the little things that you want to look out for. And once you know these things, you'll be more well equipped to find a used vehicle that is best suited for you and your family. That is all for the exterior body inspection. I'll see you in the next video.